So today we're going to be learning about vertical and adjacent angles. So to begin with, vertical angles. Now usually we think of vertical as being up and down, but in this case we're talking about vertical angles, vertical meaning that they share the same vertex. So just to remind us of what our vertex is the point at which two lines meet to form an angle. So we're looking at angles A and angles B. And vertical angles are simply angles that are across from each other. So vertical are the angles opposite each other when two lines cross. And vertical angles are always congruent. So this is very important to remember because whenever we're looking at an angle, if we know what angle A is, then we can automatically know what angle B is because they're vertical angles and thus congruent. So for example, we're going to find angles A, B, and C as shown here. So because angle B is opposite angle 40, or angle D, this angle D that we know is 40 degrees, it must also be 40 degrees. Now one way to figure out what C and A are is to think about this in regards to a full circle, as we see these four angles are making here. So we know that a full circle is 360 degrees. And we know that angle B and angle D are 40 degrees. So we can say that 360 degrees minus 2 times 40 degrees, or two 40-degree angles, as we know B and D are, equals 280 degrees left. And we have two angles left, so we need to divide that 280 by 2. And that gives us 140 degrees each. So we know that angles A and C, which are vertical angles, are both going to be 140 degrees. So A equals 40 degrees, A equals 140 degrees, B equals 40 degrees, and C equals 140 degrees. Now another way to do this would be to think about this in regards to a straight angle that we learned about yesterday. So we know that this line is a straight angle. And if we know what B is, as we do, because we know that D, its vertical angle, is 40 degrees, if this is 40, then we know that this angle must be 140 degrees, because we know that a straight angle is 180 degrees. So this altogether must be 180 degrees. So 40 plus what equals 180? 140. So we know that C is 140 degrees, and thus A, its vertical angle, is also 140 degrees. So to practice, what is the measure of angles A, B, and C below? Well, we have the measure of D right here, 130. So we know automatically D equals 130. So B equals 130. Now we can figure out the measure of A and C two ways. The first way is we look at it as a circle. So a circle equals 360 degrees minus 2 times 130 degrees. This equals 100 degrees left total. But we have to split that 100 degrees between these two angles. So we divide it by 2. And that, of course, gives us 50. So we know angle A equals 50 and angle C equals 50. But the other way we could do this is to look at it in regards to a straight angle. So we know that that is 180 degrees. And so if we have 180 degrees minus our known angle, which is 130, we must get 50. So we know that A equals 50, and if A equals 50, then C must also equal 50.